Now, it's time for the Neighborhood Connection.
We had a great question come in about Xeriscape landscaping, and it's an important one, especially with what our water rates are if you want to save some money. What is Xeriscape landscaping? It's using our natural shrubs, trees, and bushes that don't require as much water or any water at all to make it through our dry summers. For instance, right here, I planted this last spring, and you know something? I have to water this about every 2 or 3 days, even putting the right soil in. That adds up to a lot of money and a lot of water just to keep these plants alive. Now let's go take a look over here at my yard, and I've got another spot I want to show you of where you can combine these things together and save a little bit of water. You know, one of the worst things is grass, because you have to water that about every single day in the heat, or at worst, every other day. But some of these other shrubs and bushes here, like our roses and things, do pretty good, but you'll have to keep watering them all year round. That way they don't die off, which again adds up to a lot of water. Now, one of my favorite things is to use our ferns that are Pacific Northwest natives, like this one over here. You know, one of my favorites are our ferns. This doesn't require any water all year round. I mean, if we get a week or two of 100-degree weather, it might be good to hit it with a little bit of water, but it'll survive our driest summers, which can save you a bunch and make some beautiful landscaping without spending a dime on water. All right, guys, and this is Xeriscape landscaping right here. I'm gonna go through and clean it up a little bit, but this is what Mother Nature put down here originally. These are plants that need 0 water all year round. Mother Nature will supply that for you. You don't have to pay for the water. So if you're thinking about re-landscaping your place, ask your nursery professional and find those plants that don't require any additional water. That way it's great for the environment and even better for your water bill. We had a great question come in about when you can paint pressure treated wood. First, let's talk about the pressure treating process so we can understand how this works. So what they take is regular dimensional lumber, and they either dip it into a vat of chemicals that keep it from breaking down and rotting, or like this right here, they actually inject it inside the wood. So we're adding all that extra moisture into it. Typically this stuff is kiln dried beforehand. They do this, it gets bundled off, and it goes out to your lumber yard. And if your lumber yard is indoors, it doesn't get a chance to dry out. Now there is an option that you can order specialty wood that's been kiln dried after the process, but it's pretty expensive and you're not going to find it on most lumberyard shelves. So what you have to do is make sure that this is dry. It needs to be under 15% moisture content, and many times if you're picking up from an indoor lumberyard, it's going to be closer to 75, so it could take you weeks to months for it to dry out in Mother Nature. Let's take a look at this. This stuff here is about 6 months old. I've got a nice moisture meter. You can order these online. Amazon, they're super inexpensive, about 20 bucks. Let's take a look and see where this is. I'm gonna push this way in and see where we're at. We're at 14%, which means we're good to go. I wanna be under 15. That way the primer actually will stick to it that way, because otherwise if it's too wet, it's just gonna sit on the surface, and when it finally dries out, it's just gonna flake off. So the next thing I wanna do here is put on 2 really good coats of all-purpose primer. All right, so this stuff is ground contact rated. That's how you can tell with the little grooves on it. So I wanna make sure and fill those in and get paint into that. So when we're painting it, it's gonna take a lot, because I wanna make sure and get it way deep into that wood. For something small like this, definitely want to use a brush. You can use a roller, but you're going to need a bigger, thicker nap to get it in here. And so you're going to get it in here. Be careful. This stuff does like to run, because it will grab into these little grooves and run out after a while, so you need to make sure. And really, 2 good coats of primer and 2 coats of paint, you'll be good to go.